Are you listening?
All right, next up, let's talk about Stadia and immersive stream for games and some of the revelations that dropped this week. Back in March, if you're not aware, Google announced a white-labeled version of Stadia called Immersive Stream for Games at GDC, where TLDR, they're basically taking the Stadia technology, white-labeling it, and allowing other studios, companies, developers to kind of put their games on the cloud and offer them to their customers in kind of a business-to-business relationship where the developers can now go direct-to-consumer. Since then, we've already seen AT&T use immersive stream for games to offer control to their customer base, and that's on top of them already offering Arkham Knight using this technology. And this week, Capcom announced a free demo of Resident Evil Village that was being powered by immersive stream for games. And you know, one of the things I've been struggling with Google Stadia is Google has never really explained how immersive stream for games is going to impact the already existing Stadia player base. I mean, you've got members of the Stadia community out there that are assuming that, well, if a game comes to immersive stream for games, well, then it's gotta come to Stadia because they already went through all that work to get the game on the cloud, just bring it over to Stadia as well. Whereas on the flip side of that argument, you also have a segment of the community that's looking at that announcement and saying, well, this clearly is the final nail for Stadia, but the problem is, this is so murky, and Google has never really said, this is how this will impact Stadia, so we're all just kind of out there assuming. Anyway, this week, Stadia shared a blog post on Twitter saying, question, what does immersive stream for games and Capcom USA have in common? Answer, dedication to bringing games directly to the players, starting with the launch of a cloud demo for Resident Evil Village, which this post then links to a blog post that's kind of going into more details surrounding this announcement. And while this blog post was helpful, it was also confusing, and shout out to friend of the show, Lee Reed, over at Gaming Source Network, who pointed out on Twitter that in this blog post, Stadia wrote, immersive stream also powered the launch of Stadia, showcasing how a dedicated cloud gaming platform can help players discover more than 200 games and counting without waiting for downloads to install. Which Lee then pointed out on Twitter, the U-turn Google has done with Stadia is quite something. Now acting like this was the plan all along, pretending that Stadia was just part of, and the end goal was immersive stream for games. And look, agree or disagree with what Lee is saying there is a major issue with the lack of communication, so we're all just kind of throwing darts in the dark. I mean, outside of Phil Harrison putting a blog post out a year ago saying, we're committed to making Stadia the best gaming platform moving forward, I mean, we really don't know anything. So I took the opportunity and reached out to Stadia on Twitter, and I asked them point blank, congrats on the launch. What does this mean for those of us still using the Stadia platform? If developers launch games on their own service through immersive stream for games, does this mean that they will eventually be coming to Stadia as well? And to Stadia's credit, they actually responded, hey Bryant, thanks for the question. The specific answer will always be up to our partners. Some are interested in a direct relationship with players, some want to take advantage of the distribution opportunity they have with Stadia, and some like Capcom are doing both. Kudos to Stadia for responding. I appreciate the transparency, and it means a lot that you took the time to do that. However, reading that kind of left me with a lot of emotions and thoughts. One, we now know that just because a developer uses immersive stream for games doesn't guarantee that it will directly impact Stadia at all. Two, you know, I gotta admit, I'm bummed. It's seeing like more and more the Business Insider articles becoming true. You know, Stadia is being deprioritized for immersive stream for games, and if that's becoming the case, in a lot of ways, immersive stream for games is really the only thing that's keeping Stadia alive at this point. Number three, despite speculation within the community, Batman Arkham Knight is probably not going to be coming to Stadia. If there's no requirement between Google immersive stream for games and the developers to also bring those games to Stadia, we're not going to see it. And number four, how is immersive stream for games not just another competitor for Google Stadia? Look, a couple years ago, Netflix talked about attention spans of their audience. They consider things like Fortnite a competitor against people watching shows on their channel. Stadia with immersive stream for games, I understand why they're doing it. They're using the technology to keep the team employed and offering it to other people. However, I can't help but feel like Stadia is creating unnecessary competition when they already have companies like Xbox, GeForce Now, and Amazon Luna who are just pounding at the gates to take Stadia's position. And now you're bringing every other developer in the world into this same environment for you to compete with on attention. I don't know. I'm really struggling right now. On one hand, I love Stadia. I think it's one of the best cloud gaming platforms out there, but I have to admit to myself that the platform that I fell in love with, that captured my imagination at GDC almost 3 years ago, that's not the platform that we have today. And yeah, It's kind of a bummer. Hey, thanks again for checking out our channel. If you like what you saw and you want to see more content just like it, which who wouldn't, hit the subscribe button right there. And while you're down there, hit the like button. Maybe even consider becoming a Nerf Report best friend, just like the people listed down below did. In fact, don't you want to see your name there? I know I do.